Hey there, Wargamers, Justin, I'm Painting. Today, boom, we've got an unboxing video for you. I'd like to welcome you guys back to the channel. Thank you for tuning in today. If you're new here, please alpha strike that like and subscribe button. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you for tuning in to help support what I do. That said, in today's video, we are going to be reviewing the new Battletech Mercenaries boxes, or kind of like, I don't know if these are core sets or whatever, but the mercenary boxes that I just got in fresh from the Kickstarter. The one on the right here has got the Kickstarter exclusive box cover, and the one on the left here for me has the standard one. So I'm going to crack these open in just a moment to show you the contents. I think the only difference between the two right now visually is the cover. The contents should be the same. That said, we'll flip it around and give you guys a preview of what is in these boxes. All right, guys, so we have the mercenary box sets to check out today. So we've got the standard box and we have the limited edition box cover, the one from the Kickstarter. So we're going to open the regular one because the contents are the same, just the box is different. I wanted to show you guys that we had it, so we're going to crack this one open. I'll try and get a zoom in on the contents so you guys can see everything once this is open. But I wanted you to have a zoomed out view as best as possible. And matter of fact, let's try and get our paint rack out of the way here. It's not being particularly helpful right now, beyond simply taking up space. So we'll get that out of the way, and that'll give me some room to work. There we go. And it looks like a nice little hobby disc, right? Because that's what we do. We get a hobby time in. All right, so crack that open. Boop, boop, boop. Pulling the wrapper off, and I've had this for a few weeks. I've been really busy and haven't had time to do unboxings. I've had the whole Kickstarter pledge that came in and no time to actually look at anything, which is unfortunate. So this is the first time I'm cracking one of these open to check it out. I guess I should have showed you guys the box. I was so excited to get into it, I didn't. So here's the front of the box, and if we're interested in what the back shows, here is the back. And this MSRP is for $75 when these hit retail for Fortress Miniatures and Games. I imagine he's going to have them for like 10, 15% off, something like that. Whatever his standard discount is, you'll be able to get this cheaper. So it looks like you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mechs. So 2 lances and then a lance of vehicles, which I could have just read that there, 12. So let's go ahead and check out what we have got. So we've got some literature here. Got an Ill-Clan story from Michael Ciravella, which is cool. Dig that. We have a Battlefield support deck. So that's a nice little heft of cards right there. We've got some pilot cards. Check that out. And then we have Battlefield support cards for Classic, I assume is what these are going to be for. Yeah, so short of me digging into the rules, I'm not going to know what any of these do. So I'm going to skip popping the seal on this because I'm not going to be able to help you guys with that. It does look like there are 100 of these. There's only 4 vehicles in this. I wonder if these line up with the force packs that we bought. We also have dice in here. I bet these line up with the force packs, but I assume those would have cards too. When I do the unboxings on those, we'll know. But I'm not going to show every one of these because that's going to take forever, and they're all going to be very similar. So when you crack yours open, make sure you read the rules for Battlefield support, see what they do. And then this one, to get the pilots, I'm going to have to crack it anyway, but these look different backer than those. So we'll check those out and see what they do as well. So let's pull out our tray here. We'll see what we got. So we have the Mercenaries rulebook. So this looks like it's probably going to be basics for Classic. It's got Chaos Campaign stuff, Battlefield support. Okay, all right, so this is covering Battlefield support. That's good. Okay, so let's see. So it's going to give you an explanation between Total War and Battlefield support. So the difference between a standard card versus, or standard stat sheet versus the card, why you would use the one or the other. And this is going to break it down. This is Battlefield support for what looks like Classic. So it's going to tell you how they function. I don't play Classic, but this will give you a way to use it. I've done demos with this at KrinskaCon a few years back when they previewed them. So that's good. Okay, and I know that based on how much damage it takes, it's a higher chance for them to be blown up. I remember them doing that. And it's walking through all of these. I feel like there's going to be overlap here because some of these are used in Alpha Strike as well. When you get to the cards, target number, damage, groupings. Okay, so these are going to be cards for Classic, because that's damage, value, groupings, 5 points of damage each. So that's going to be 3 groupings, so 3 hits of 5. So this is going to be for Classic. These are not Alpha Strike Battlefield support cards, which we have those already. Those have been out. It's giving you Battlefield support point cost, which is cool. The ones for Alpha Strike don't have a cost, unless those cards are different. When we get into it, we'll see. Let's see, because in the Alpha Strike cards we have Light Strike, Light Bombing, Heavy Strike, Heavy Bombing. We don't have whatever Bluff is. We don't have Strafing, unless that deck adds it. So maybe battle value, maybe that's what you pay for Classic, and maybe in this stack when we get to it, maybe there's Alpha Strike ones, and maybe these are the point cost. Hopefully listed on the card, that would make things make sense. So I do appreciate that this has all the stuff for the Battlefield support in one easy place. So if you want to use this in addition to your games, you don't have to get a whole nother book. I mean, this is basically another small book, but it is a thing that you could utilize. So that is nice. Let's check out the stat sheets we got here. Pretty common for us to get some unit sheets here, so it's going to be the ones that cover the guys in the box, all the mechs you get. If you're going to use these, I would highly recommend you either scan them and print them, or probably more likely laminate them. Cut this, with like a paper cut or something, and then laminate these, and then to get maximum usage out of it for you and your friends. I'm a big fan of using the included stat sheets instead of going online and printing them, mostly because I feel like this is self-contained and simple, and you can play it like a board game. When you start going into the expanded stat sheets and stuff like that for Battletech, you start ending up trying to max min and find the best variant. I really like when a DM for like a D&D or something, for example, puts me in a situation and says, here's what you got to do, deal with it, right? These are the stat sheets you got, figure it out. In Battletech, I feel like if you're given a Mad Cat standard variant with machine guns, the first thing that a Classic player would do who's a veteran of the game would just strip the machine guns, put something else better in, things like that. But they had machine guns. In lore, there's a reason they might use machine guns. In the minis, it doesn't get used as often, so find a way to use them. So I'm a big fan of, like, give me the sheet, let's play with it and figure it out. Then you can expand later. Don't get so bogged down. But if you buy this and play it self-contained as a box set, don't worry about competition. Grab one of those sheets and see if you can do some cool stuff. That's me. So this is the primer to Battletech. Basically, every box has got something like this in it. Descriptions of the eras so that you know what you're getting into. Picture the map, a little bit of information about those areas. And that's going to be different years. So based on when you're playing, the maps are going to look a little different with who has control of what. This is probably a little short story, I imagine. And then a little bit of information about Wolves, Dragoons, Kellhounds. I appreciate that. Yeah, so all the mercenary companies is what they're going with here. And then I do wish the cheetahs had made it on the list because I canonized them, but c'est la vie, such is life. So we're going to get us a little poster, nice shiny poster. Looks like it's going to be one of the maps. So that's pretty cool. And then we've got a punch-out sheet with a bunch of vehicles, which is nice if you didn't get a bunch of the plastics, especially for Classic, where they still use these cardboard punch-outs. You have a bunch of stuff. And looks like a lot of these are going to probably line up with the support cards, these over here. So the gun emplacement, so you got a gun emplacement, so you can probably spend the points to drop these to modify your Classic stuff. This is less of a thing for me because I don't do Classic, but this is here. These look like they're going to line up with the plastic units that you get, which also explains why there was a chopper on here, because you have the card to correspond with that. And if you bought the Force Pack, you have a physical mini to go with that. And then for these, they didn't really put out infantry or vehicles. Big plug, again, check out deathrodesigns.com. We have biker infantry, we have four-wheeler infantry, we have standard infantry, and they're dirt cheap. Our infantry boxes come with 4 stands, 4 bases, 4 sprues with enough to put 7 infantry per stand, I think, on it, which is the number that they have here, 7. I think the pack of infantry is $15. So 15 to do those. You can get 2 packs, be $30, and you'd have 8 stands. The pack of the 4-wheelers, I think, is $15. Done. And then we have all the vehicles and stuff you could get to. So if you want to, especially the infantry, that's our #1 seller for Battletech proxies. Check out the infantry we have. Good to go. I've already got the Battletech preview or unboxing done for Innersphere Battle Armor. The plastics currently are Garbaggio. We have good proxies for Battle Armor, dirt cheap for relative, like about half the price what you're paying for those plastics, and they're better quality. Jump infantry, we sell those too. You get 3 stands for $12, and then more for wheelers. So a lot of the proxies they are showing here you could get from us. The field hospital, you can get some stuff from Thunderhead that looks like it would fit about similar hexes maybe for 3D terrain if you wanted to. I think these are cool to have. Oh, they're double-sided. Nice. Okay, so different aesthetic if you want to be playing on like this kind of wasteland barren, like what do you call it? Like some kind of like a lake bed is something enough, or you want to play on something that looks like it might have been snow. So you've got 2 options. I didn't even flip those over. So yeah, very cool. Or if you and an opponent both have them, you could use one side and you use one, they use the other, so your units are distinguishable. So that's good. Battlefield support, strike card. So you have a bunch of information on that, and then force building. So again, if you're playing classic, this is good. For Alpha Strike, so it's got a cost of $13.15, and then BV. So again, maybe when we get to these cards, maybe there's a classic or an Alpha Strike stat on there, which would be good, which would be pretty cool. We'll see how that translates. I don't know. We'll have to see. This, I like this for whatever we're doing with the mercenary contract sheet. I like that it is nice stock, and you can. It's definitely like meant to be dry erased. I guess it's probably something to do with the missions and stuff in there to do. That's cool. Okay, yeah. So it's for Chaos Campaign. I got it. Here's the other sheet, Chaos Campaign. Yeah. So if you're doing this, so this would be good for TOs at a shop. So you're doing stuff like that, going to a store and playing, monthly games or weekly games. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Interesting. Okay, that's pretty cool. And then we have, I wish Catalyst had more social media stuff and video content explaining how this stuff works, because I think a lot of people get it and they probably don't know. They're probably just getting this for the mechs, and then they open this and they want to see what's up. And same thing I did. I didn't know any of that. I knew they were getting Battlefield support, but I didn't know they were trying to do some campaign. And then we get one of these, or 2 of these maps, fold-out maps, which are cool. That's going to be less useful for me again because I play Alpha Strike. CGL seems to be of the mind that Classic is still the way to go. And there are people who play Classic, but I think that they are sleeping on the number of people who play Alpha Strike. There's people that come from traditional war games, or I get people who jump on me when I say that, because they'll be like, Battletech's traditional. Sure, it's old. You can call it traditional because it's old. 40K is almost as old as Battletech, and it is, you could also call it traditional, but it is what the new term I'll use is mainstream, because people get mad when I say traditional. Mainstream war games today do things differently than Classic, and if you're trying to get new players into the game, Classic's very hard to approach, and a lot of people will say that's BS. They don't believe me. That's fine. You can have that opinion, but I think the majority of people that I talk to, CDT agents included, they agree. If you take a step back and objectively think about how you can get someone into the game, Alpha Strike's much more approachable. It is a more mainstream war game, whereas Classic is more of a narrative, crunchy simulation, role-play-y kind of game. That's the niches that those 2 respective games tag into. People who play Alpha Strike have probably played Warhammer 40K, Star Wars Legion, Infinity, War Machine, X-Wing Miniatures, Legion. They've probably played those. Those are more mainstream, and they'll have certain elements that are the same. This stuff works really good. Hex maps and flat stuff and no terrain. It's stuck in the 90s, and it's okay. I think it's good that people have an option, but I really wish they would do more to cater to Alpha Strike, because I think that is an appreciable amount of their customer base and new customers they would get if they did it. So official terrain releases and stuff like that that are 3D, because the map packs and stuff for this, like, Classic people get them, but Alpha Strike people don't. And then I feel like they put out box set after box set, has lots of components for Classic, But then Alpha Strike people get them, they get this, and the cards and all those components are, you know, useless. So that's my little side rant on that. Classic has a place. I don't hate Classic. Classic is good. But I think for the life of the game, if you're trying to get into a new market, strictly speaking about finances and making money, this right here with Alpha Strike is going to tap into a more traditional wargame community now that is this vastly huge relative to Classic players. And some people are like, well, we don't need those players. That's fine. The community, like that portion of the community can believe that, but the company wants to make money. And if they want to make money off this, they need people buying product. New people buying product is money, right? So for the life and the growth of Battletech, more people getting in is important. That market you're trying to tap into is probably less interested in Classic, that are going to skew more traditional or more mainstream wargame. But I would not quit with Classic. I think it's good to have options so you can choose how you want to play. I wish we got more stuff for Alpha Strike. So that said, my little rant over. Let's go ahead and check out some cards here. So I'm going to try to not mess anything up. Okay, see if that was enough to get the cellophane torn. And we'll see here. So here is the unit cards, and let's check these out. So these are definitely the classic ones because we've already got strikes for, Alpha Strike. I think they came in the, was it the Alpha Strike box that they came in? Okay. Okay, yep. This also feels a bit more extensive for options over what we got for Alpha Strike. So in that that stat card that gave these a point value and a battle value, that is probably one of those, are you using this as part of your BV outside of the campaign is what I bet. I bet there's a BV value you can pay to use these. And then if you're playing in the campaign, there's probably a point value you pay because you both have so many points to spend on support assets. That is my guess. But nothing in here is showing Alpha Strike. We already have the air strikes, and this one's talking about groupings of 5 damage, which in Alpha Strike, even if it was 2 damage, if it was, you know, just one instance of 2, I think we already have one that does that. It might even also be a light air strike. I don't have the deck here with me in my cards. But in Classic, like 2 instances of 5 damage, not too bad. In Alpha Strike, that'd be devastating. So none of these look like they would have an Alpha Strike component to them. So it goes in there. Looking at these, we've got the units. So, all right, got our cards here. Let's grab these, and I will try and sort these out with the mechs so that we've got pilots. Okay, so they look like they're coming out in the same order, which is nice. Makes my life easier. Whoops. Oop, got another Wolf's Dragoon boy. I like that. I like that. And then no pilots for the vehicles, which is cool. So let's go ahead and start with the vehicles. I'll get us zoomed in a smidge here so you guys can get a really good look. So let's go with we got 2 Galleons and 2 Maxims. So Maxim number 1. And that is a good look at the sculpt. I think the value of this box is really good. Working at a company where we do 3D prints, we can do a lot of vehicle stuff pretty affordably, but I think the price points on these is going to be really stellar for what they are. Both of the Maxims look pretty solid sculpt-wise, given what they are. Can't really complain about that. And then we've got the Galleon, number 1 and number 2. I might favor. I don't mind the Maxim. We also have a proxy for that. I don't mind that. Like as reasonable as I do ours. The Galleon not as cool looking, but you know some of the vehicles in BattleTech might not be as cool. Though my personal taste visually, aesthetically speaking, may differ. I mean, I might think the Hunchback is one of the coolest mechs ever, and someone else may say it's a stupid trash can or urban mech, right? So the aesthetic taste for the models is personal. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just do you like it or not? So we've got 2 cards for the Maxims, and they'll be front and back. So they'll have technically, I guess, 4 different variants here. So we've got the heavy transport at 29 points, Team M3, 16 hover, size 2, 3, 2, 1 for damage, 6 life. IF, IT3, so it's got small transport, searchlight, SRM turret. I forget what EE is. Not worried about that right now. 29 points, usable in any era. I don't mind that TMM, and it does some decent damage. So it's right up there on par with my baseline mech of the 333 for 33-ish points. It's got a little bit less life, but it's doing similar things. We've got the escort, the heavy transport coming in at 8 points more. Team M3, 431 for damage, 1 extra life, same movement. FC, IF1, rear 1, search. So basically you're giving up your transport capacity on this one in favor of a little bit more damage and a little bit more survivability. I like the movement on it. It's really going to come down to like what you want to put on the table, but I don't hate that. It's a lot of points. But this is also, like I said, Dark Age and Ill Clan era variant. This one, the Fire Support one came out, Clan Evasion through Ill Clan, 33 points, so not much more than the first one we looked at 29. Team M3, 16 move, or excuse me, 16 hover, 222 for damage, EE, IF, LRM, search. So you're also getting up your transport capacity for a little bit more life, and I guess the damage is about the same. Yeah, so you shifted short range to long range damage. At that point, you're probably better off with the other one. And then we have the BA factory upgrade at 36, heavy transport, 3 TMM 16H, 331, 7 life, EE, IF, IT4, search, turret. This one is a good winner. It's got infantry transport, clan evasion through Ill Clan. Comparing it to the heavy hover transport that gives up its transport capacity is a 431. This is a 331. You give up 1 short range damage. It's a little bit cheaper, and you can carry a little bit of a payload. I like that. That's not too bad, but any one of those variants is probably useful for you in some capacity, so you might have to, or your mileage may vary. We have the Galleon here, light tank, 13 points. Team M2, 12 track, 210. EE, ENE, searchlight, turret, 4 life. This is not terrible, actually, for 13 points, really. Yeah, there's not much you can say about that. Just don't ignore it. It's going to just keep blinking at you and drive down the field, but you can find 13 points. Yeah, I don't hate that. This one coming in at 31 points, so almost 20-point increase. Team M3 versus 2, 14 moves, so faster. 220 for damage, 6 life, so it's got 50% more life. ENE, probe, recon, search. This one's usable in the Civil War all the way to, not Civil War, Succession Wars all the way to Ill Clan. This one was all eras. I don't mind that one. That's not too bad. Again, the Team M3 is really stellar. A little low on the life, but like, yeah, okay. There might be some other things you can max in if you're playing competitively, but okay. This one is a Dark Age Ill Clan era one, 3 TMM, 16 tracked, 221 for damage, 6 life. Crit resistance, ENE, probe, recon, search, tag, and turret, 221. Okay, yeah. Straightforward. I like the TMM on it. It's a little pricey. I mean, this is one of those ones where, like, do you field 1 tank at 33 points with 6 life versus 4 life and a little bit more damage and a little more movement, or do you field almost 3 of these, which would be 12 life versus 6 in terms of getting it off the table, and then just swarm. So it's one of the things you're constantly trying to weigh in when you're using or building for Alpha Strike. So, but that is those. Moving on for the mechs, we've got the Ostel, and we're getting into like territory with stuff I'm not familiar with. So this will be the Ostel, bro. Yep, this little guy. Scope looks pretty good. There's the obvious mold lines we've seen over the years. They feel a little bit better. Some, like the ones here on the underside, are not terrible to clean. That one's kind of on an edge, not terrible. So like this is actually not bad. We'll see how the rest of the guys go. But let's get into his unit card first. This one is up through the Dark Age era. Team M2, 10 move, 333. Or 33 points for life, sorry. 330 for damage, 10 life, OV, 0, ENE, rear. If you're running off my baseline mech that or the way I pick mechs and recommend them, you don't have the long range damage that Mad Dog is that I use as my baseline. He's the same points. He's got, I think, a little bit more life. He's still kicking out damage at medium. He won't suffer an ammo explosion if he gets hit with the crit. This is a good one. For 33 points, that's a solid banger right there. If you're going for quality, or excuse me, critical mass quantity versus quality equations, this is a nice mech. I like that, and that's just one variant that I'm looking at. 3 points more, Team M2. This one's usually usable Dark Age Ill Clan. This one has got 10 life. versus they're both 10. It just shifts structure to armor. 330 for damage, OV1, E&E, rear 1. So this one's 3 points more, less internal, so less chances for crits, and OV1. Not terrible for a 3-point increase. Its survivability is very, very similar. It's also immune to the ammo explosion crit, so it depends on what area you're playing in. If you're playing in the Ill Clan, you could choose this one. If you're not playing Ill Clan, then this one. It's up to you. So let's go ahead and hold up the actual special pilot card here. You guys can pause and read that if you want to. This one is Rhonda Halton. Let's flip that over. Check out the other guy. Kaori Amano. 7 Legion of Vega. House Carita. So yeah, very cool. Moving on for the quick draw. I like this one. I've seen it plenty in video games. I like the jets here. Details look reasonable. They're a little shallower on the back, I feel, or smooth. Not the end of the world. The panel lines look reasonably deep. Up here, it's... Alright, so this is actually not my favorite. Right in here, that line, this mold line, or not mold line, this panel line, it gets lost right on the edge. This is smushed down. Let me actually zoom in, because this is actually kind of not great. So you can see like that. It's probably not supposed to be... Oh, come on, focus. Probably not supposed to be the way that is. Right in here. And then it's kind of rough on this side, too. This one's not bad. It feels more like it's supposed to be flat, like it's got angles. And that panel line seems reasonable, but this is rough. It's kind of smooshed. And you're going to lose that whole panel line there. It's just non-existent. So that's rough. The other spots look reasonable. They've hid mold lines in good spots. There's a mold line that runs right here, but it's following the panel line there, so not bad. But yeah, that right back here, that mold line's pretty rough. But yeah, that's egregious. That's pretty not great. Let's check out his stat cards though. So for the first variant popping up, we have the 4G, 32 points, 2 TMM, 10J, 231 for damage, 9 life, IF rear 1. Going off my baseline, not bad, not bad. Yeah, I mean, this is also a solid mech relative to my baseline of that Mad Dog at 33 points for 333. He's got similar life. He's a 231, coming in 1 point less, same TMM, basically same kind of movement, 10J. It's not bad. This is a banger. You won't, if you're trying to get critical mass on the table, you're trying to field a company of mechs, and you want some good, solid mechs that don't have to cost a lot for what they do, this guy's good. It's a good one. This one's a bit more expensive, 51 versus 32, so that's almost a 20-point increase. He's got a 16 mover, a 10J, Team M3, 440, 9 life, so a little bit more life, a little bit more damage. Case 2, Jump Jet's weak, so if you have to use that jump to get out of there, he's going to lose a TMM. Jump Jets normally give you +1 TMM, so you'd be at a 4, but Jump Jet's weaks go the opposite direction, so his TMM would drop to a 2, because it'd be -1. And he's got rear shots. This one's usable in the Dark Age and Ill Clan era. This one's usable up to the Jihad. I like the 32-pointer myself, personally. Coming up for the pilot card, I will pause so you guys can read, but this is Sycreta Melander. And then we have Ingo Blumentrit. Sure, I butchered that. Okay. Next up, we got the Firefly. Let's check that bro out. Okay. See, his panel lines are nice and crisp up here. I like that. Nice cockpit area. Weapons look good. Yeah, mold lines are surprisingly hard to spot on this one. This one's pretty good. This is a pretty nice looking model. Yep, not bad. Better than the quick draw. All right, checking out his unit card. Firefly 4C, 25 points. Team M2, 10 move, 8J, 330, asterisk, so he's got 50-50 shot at that range. Usable in the Succession Wars to the Jihad. 4 life, 3 armor, 1 structure. AMS case, indirect fire, 0, asterisk, jump jet weak. So if he has to use a jump jet weak, he's going to be at Team M1. Not bad, but there's probably some better stuff you could be fielding for a light. at a TMM of 2 and that low of a movement. There's probably some better stuff to be fielding. A Locust I'd probably take over this. But he's got 3 damage, so that's not bad. You could scare it at medium range, shoot with him. Coming in at 1 point more, we have the Firefly 5A, Dark Age Era, and Ill Clan. 12 move, 16J, jump jet strong. So if he uses that, he's going to be at TMM 3. That's good. That's good. And at 16 jump, that's a solid jump. 2/2 and 0 asterisk for his damage, 3 armor, 1 structure, so 4 life. Yeah, if you're playing in that era, this is a good one. Jump in, throw him on objectives, do what you got to do. Leverage at 3 TMM. It's going to be 4 TMM because jump jet strong's +1, so you'd have a TMM 2 +1 for jump, +1 for strong jump, so for TMM 4, that's solidly that. This is the variant to use if you're playing in that era. Do that. Do that. Here's the cards, and you can pause here. And this one's a Wolf's Dragoon, so excited about that. Shwoop. And this one is Comstar. And good thing I got 2 boxes, so I can put this in my Comstar forces, and I can put the other one with my Wolf's Dragoons. Next up, we got the Flea. A little peek-see at the Flea. So there's a slippage or mold line issue right through here on the cockpit, and that's rough. You can see this right here, this part of the cockpit. Let's see if I can get a little tighter here. All right, hopefully it'll stay focused. You can see this part of the cockpit's really, really nice, right? Nice and defined. And when you get over here, you lose it right there. So that's not great. You could probably clean that out, and then right in here gets a little rough. Probably clean that up, but that's a little annoying because it's in such an obvious spot. Some of the other mold lines are pretty well hidden on areas that you can clean up, and they're less visible because they're on the undersides of things. So not terrible. That's the Flea. Let's go ahead and check out the Flea's card. So 23 points, 3 move, 3 TMM, 16 move, 2/2/0 usable. This one is in the Clan Invasion to the Dark Age, 4 life, E&E rear, so he's immune to ammo explosions. I like the movement on a Locust, but I don't hate this one's TMM. So I think the Flea, not bad for 23 points. This is a good little harasser, especially because he can get behind you if you give him the opportunity. It's not as good as a Dasher, but still 2 damage. If he gets behind you 3, you can skirt at medium range, level that TMM, and just pop shot and annoy people. And if they shoot him, they didn't shoot your heavy hitters, so it's nice. This one's coming in at 6 points more. Ill Clan, Dark Age Era, 22 move. Getting better. 4 TMM, so +1 TMM, plus, what was that? 6 move, 2/2/0 for damage, 3 life, so we lose 1 life. ECM, E&E, and stealth. So yeah, geez, yeah, that's a banger too. TMM of 4, leveraging stealth. Dude, this guy's gonna be hard to hit. He's gonna be flying, and you're gonna get bonuses at long range. I think it's +2, and medium range is +1. I think with stealth. Or maybe it's just plus at long, but I think it's at medium you get 1 and long is 2. I'd have to look that up, but just the stealth is good. If you're playing that era, play this version of the Flea. If you're using the cards, it's good, solid. Looking at the pilots, give you guys a moment to read. And flip it on over. House Liao. Alright, so next up is the Devastator, the big boy. Look at this giant chunker. It reminds me of some of the big Titans for Warhammer 40k. Obviously small, but visually he reminds me of some of the Titans. He's chunky, he's heavy. This is an assault mech, so it's good heft in plastic. Details look reasonable. Mold line cleanup, obvious thing. You get some weirdness right in here. Mold lines right in here to clean up. Not the worst. Not as bad as old Quick Draw down there. But yeah, visually not my favorite. These get shallow back here, unfortunately. I am a big fan of aesthetics, so he'd have to have like super compelling stats, and he might, looking at this card coming up, but it's not my favorite visual mech. It might be for you, and that's okay. Just because I don't like the aesthetic of it doesn't mean it's bad. I like what I like, and you like what you like, and that is completely okay. So if I critique an aesthetic, that is not the same as critiquing mold lines and sculpt. So the Devastator here, 54 points. This is going to be the Succession Wars through the Ill Clan. Team M1, 6 move, 6, 7, 5 for damage. So pretty beefy here. I think this is, yeah, his damage output's really good. The Atlas, as comparison, probably has more structure. This is probably putting out a little bit more damage. So this guy's got 16 life. Sorry, scratch that. 4, 8, 12, 14 life. Rear 1. So pretty straightforward. A bunch of points. Probably some other things you could get that are harder to hit and deal similar or more damage, but have less life. So this guy could be good if you're wanting to play a little bit of the attrition game. Checking out the Devastator 1/1 variant, 57 points, so coming in at 3 points more and usable in the Dark Age and Ill-Clan Aura era only. TMM of 2, 10 move, so he is faster by 4, TMM is higher by 1, 553 for damage, so a little less damage. Same life at 14. OV2, rear 1, this one had no OV. For 3 points more, I like this one if you had the choice. Plus 1 TMM for a 3-point increase, plus 4 move. You lose a little bit of damage, but you have OV to make up for that. But that TMM and that move, that keeps you alive longer. That means you get to roll dice more often. So that is, I like that variant if you were going to pick between the two and could use it in the area you're playing. Looking at cards, you've got Dana Wolf, not Wolf, Wolf. And then we have got House Davian, Catherine Sandovalito. Went to school with a guy whose last name was Sandoval, or college. Next up, we have the Cesar, the Cesar. Let's check this guy out. I kind of dig this one. I like the cockpit. That's really neat. The panel lines look nice and deep. It's just the asymmetry with the gun, and that's a chunky, boxy gun, which I think is really cool looking. The little like sensor here. It's just this one's begging to be converted into like almost an Uziel because it's got that rounded thing here, and the Uziel is one of my favorite visually mechs. It's so interesting. Even the mech we're online is not that great, but I like playing it. Mold lines are kind of what we're used to at this point. They're not bad. This one's not terribly egregious on the mold lines. I'm digging it. Yeah, the Cesar looks pretty cool, guys. Visually, I go from this guy that's like, I'm like, take it or leave it, to this one who I'm just like, yo, you're effing cool. I like you. All right, let's check out some stat cards for the Cesar. 34 points, 1 TMM, 8 move. This one's usable in the Clan Evasion to the Ill-Clan. 443 for damage, 9 life, case, rear 1. I'm liking how you look, my guy, but I don't like your TMM. I don't like your move. And your life's a little bit better, but when I'm looking at my baseline, he's got a little bit more life, less TMM, less move, a little bit more damage. I don't know if that's going to offset his slight survivability here is going to offset a TMM difference and a slight damage difference. So we'll see what the other side is. Yeah, so 17 points more. TMM 1, 6 move, so less move. Usable in Ill-Clan and Dark Age. 442 for... Holy crap. Is that a typo? I feel like that's a check the master unit list. That's 3, 6, 9, 12, 14. This has 17 life. That Devastator had 14. And this, like, holy crap. And crit resistance, case 2, rear 1, 1, 0. Yeah, okay. Tanky. That's wild. Looking at the pilot card here. Obviously, pause if you want to read it. This is Mako Inui. And on this side, we have the House Steiner Milo Zagroski. Very cool. Next up, as we start winding down on the mechs here, we have the Star Slayer. I also think this one is pretty cool. I believe this is the one off the cover, but I'm a big fan of asymmetry, and it's interesting. I also would have liked him if he had an arm, and the asymmetry was here, almost like a Hollander. That would have been cool to me as well. But I like that. Mold line cleanup here. Kind of the same spots we're used to seeing. Jump jets is really cool. Nice place for a glow. Little piece of factory person's skin right here where they glued themselves to the model. So Chinese skin in my box. That's funny. No, I mean, sort of, but not. A little gross. But yeah, still cool. The cockpit feels a little shallow in here. But maybe, I mean, the line might be deep enough that the washes and stuff get in right up here. It gets a little A little wonky, but yeah, could be a little worse, but could be a little better. Let's check out the card here. Star Slayer, 35 points. Clan Evasion through the Dark Age. Team M2, 10J330. 10 life case, OV1, rear, 0 asterisk, so it could shoot rear. This is a solid one. It's 2 points more than my baseline. I think it has the same or more life, similar damage, no long range, but in the bracket that I play the most, this is good. 1 OV, that's a solid one too. It's a bunch of like 30-point guys or cards in this box that, if you're playing strictly cards, are really solid. This one's coming in at 1 point more, usable in the Dark Age and Ill Clan only, and basically they're giving you, most of these cards are the majority of eras, and then one very specific as a new variant. 2 TMM, 10J, 330, 2 OV, 10 life, rear, TSM, so when he's moving and I think gaining heat or whatever, he gets some bonuses to melee, if I recall. Triple Strength Mimer, I don't remember exactly because I don't use that often. Actually, I don't think I've ever used it. This is not bad for 1 point more. The OV and the TSM, if you're utilizing those, it might not be too bad if you're playing in these eras. So to each their own based on the era and if you have the extra 1 point. Pilot card here, Rick Daring. And Flippy. Free Roselhog Republic. Pernilla Setterstrom. Probably should set this aside because I got some ghost burrs that I'm going to paint one day. Whoop, whoop. And finally, we got the Chameleon, which on the card kind of felt a little bit like the Phoenix Hawk for pose, but the cockpit's a little different. I like the cockpit because it has a really large area to be doing jeweling, which will be nice. Shows up well. Got some mold lines obviously on here. A broken record on that, but that's something people want to see. Right in here is a little rough on his little booty. A little rough right in here, cleanup wise. Fortunately, it's not a spot people are going to be looking at a lot, but it is there, so worth pointing out. Yeah, kind of a cool looking guy. I'm not familiar with most of these. I knew the Quick Draw, I knew the Flea, and I knew some of the vehicles. But yeah, interesting little fella. We'll get into his stats. 24 points, usable in the Clan Evasion through the Ill Clan. 2 TMM, 12J, 210 for damage, 1 overheat, 8 life. I don't mind the 8 life. I don't mind the 2 TMM. I feel like he's in the Bushwhacker and Sentinel area for me, so not terrible for a medium. I'm reasonably happy with that. I wish he had a 2 for medium range damage or some 3s. There might be some other stuff that's a little better, but you can jump him too, so yeah. That one might be a 50-50. This one's coming in, I think, was 6 more points. 2 TMM, 12J. This is usable in the Clan Evasion through the Ill Clan, so good spread there. 8 life, 221 for damage, 1 OV E&E, so immune to explosions. Basically, it shifted some of its structure to armor, so less likely to get crit. It's up to you. I do like that 2 medium range damage is nice though. So out of box though, I don't know. It's a toss up. I like saving points when I can, so it's up to you. Moving on to the card, the pilot card with Edward Gilbrist. It's a Crescent Hawk. Crescent Hawk. Then we have Solaris Gladiator, Humbris Stables. All right, and that's all the stuff in the box, guys. So I think this is MSRP at $75. The support cards, unfortunately, are tailored for Classic. In addition to those, so that's not really going to get any use from me, unfortunately. We have some cards like this for Alpha Strike, but by and large, this stuff is not for Alpha Strike. These cards are. That part kind of sucks, unless I missed something somewhere for how these get converted over. Maybe it's in a book or something, but if it's in there and explains how to do it, it's a shame it's not on the card to make it readily obvious. So that's unfortunate. But the core minis I do like. I just wish the rest of the box was as useful. So your mileage may vary. If you're into Classic, you get maximum value for an Alpha Strike. Make sure that these are minis that you want. That said, I am happy with it. I wouldn't change any of my purchasing of this box because I like to get stuff. The only thing I would say is I wish the Mike Cannon character showed up. That would have been cool. But otherwise, nice box. I think it's cool. I like to see more Battletech products hitting shelves and getting people into the game. And I'll be really excited to see what the other boxes that I open have in store. And there you have it, folks. Hopefully you guys got a pretty good look at what was in these boxes. If you have any thoughts of your own, please sound off in the comments below. If you've gotten your Kickstarter stuff, we'd love to hear your thoughts. If you're still waiting, have patience. Hopefully you'll get your stuff soon. With that said, folks, that's all I've got for you today. If you want to help support the channel, check the description down below for all the relevant links and goodies. And always keep painting your models, keep rolling your dice, and I will catch you guys next time. If you made it this far, you're probably a viewer that already hits that like button when you see a video come up. You're probably already a subscriber, and you probably jump into the comments down below to help support the channel, to help support that algorithm. But if you're looking for some other ways to help support the channel too, make sure you check the description down below. Maybe you want to pick up some paints from Monument Hobbies. That's my paint of choice. The Pro Acrylic line is chef's kiss, good stuff. Maybe you want to check out some of the offerings from Death Designs, where I work in my day job. We got plenty of 3D printed products, as well as MDF terrain, some of the stuff that I have designed myself and we play with here on the channel. And if you're looking to bolster your Battletech ranks, miniatures, and offerings, make sure you check out Bobby from Fortress Miniatures and Games. He's one of the main supporters of the channel as well, and supporting any of these companies helps support what I do and helps to ensure that I can continue to bring content to all of you. If you want to become a super supporter, I highly recommend you guys check out the Patreon. You guys get that extra little edge to help push more content out, and I really do appreciate that. And my ultimate goal on the channel is to continue to be able to not only put out the content we have now, but to get to a point where you can put out more content later, whether that be battle reports or painting tutorials or just more rambles, anything at all. I'd like to be doing more content for you. This is something that I enjoy. I like being able to cast a light into the darkness to bring a little bit of hobby positivity to all of you and make you feel good, and also enjoy playing games myself. As we do the final sign off here though, I do want to go ahead and switch on over and do the scroll of awesome to showcase all the Patreon supporters, the super supporters of the channel, to give them some recognition for helping support what I do. Thank you guys so much, and I will catch you guys next time.